Good morning, salamat pa Gise Mumanya, and thank you to everyone for joining us today. My name is Henry Ma, Senior Country Economist at the Indonesia Resident Mission of the Asian Development Bank. It is my distinct pleasure to welcome everyone today at the 9th installment of the Indonesia Development Talks webinar series. This is our last for 2022, and we are looking forward to welcoming you all again next year for our 2023 series. In this series, practitioners and thought leaders discuss innovative approaches and solutions to development challenges in Indonesia. Our webinar today will focus on child and adolescent nutrition, with particular attention to 12 provinces. We will look at the findings from these ADB-supported studies and their implications for health policy. A growing number of Indonesian youth are experiencing both undernutrition, including stunting and nutritional deficiency, as well as obesity. Large disparities also exist in health and nutrition status across provinces in Indonesia. This webinar will review the results of 12 studies conducted in several provinces, supported by the ADB Technical Assistance Project. The Technical Assistance Project is aligned with ADB's Country Partnership Strategy for Indonesia and the government's National Long-Term Development Plan, both of which emphasize and enhance human resource development through better health, education, and skills development. High-quality evidence on the impact of nutrition interventions will assist evidence-based policymaking in the health and education sectors. Today, we have four distinguished speakers. Professor Mukhtar Mansur is the Director of the Regional Center for Food and Nutrition and Professor in Medicine at the Universitas Indonesia. Dr. Anung Sugihantono is a lecturer at Semarang Health Polytechnic. Professor Preti Multihartina is the head of the Health Policy Effort, head of the Health Development Agency at the Ministry of Health. And Professor Sri Sumarmi is Professor of Nutrition at Airlangga University. It is our hope that we will all get insights on nutrition and health and how policy can redress deficiencies in these areas. My ADB colleague, Takashi Yamano, will introduce the project as well as moderate the discussion. I am looking forward to a healthy and productive discussion among us all. Thank you. Please stay safe and healthy. And over to you, Takashi.
Thank you very much for a very good introduction, Henry. Let me just put my my screen up on the screen. Yeah, to introduce. I hope you can see my screen. So today's presentation has been supported by ADB's Technical Assistant project. That is supported by the Japan Fund for Poverty Reduction, the JFPR, and our executing agency with Ministry of Health. So we have been working very closely with Ministry of Health. The TA project was approved in 2018, but the real activity started from 2020 when we had MOU signed with MOH. Just an overview of our activities. We have conducted many studies, including 3 studies on the decomposing stunting and reduction in Indonesia, anemia during the pregnancy, water sanitation, child health outcome in Indonesia. This has been conducted with Indonesian consultants. And we have also conducted the review of national data collection by the Ministry of Health, called SSGI. And we have also have been collaborating with UNICEF and WHO, WFP. Today's presentation is on the last part, which we call it capacity building activities. Last year, November of 2021, we conducted capacity building training of how to use the data, analyze the data, use the statistical packages to conduct statistical analysis. It was an online training program. More than 100 researchers from Indonesia, different provinces, and Minister of the Health staff and others have joined. It was 6-day, very intensive training programs. After the training programs, we have asked people to submit proposals of studies. We have received 15 proposals from different provinces. Out of 15, we have selected 12 studies, and which will be presented today by Professor Mukhtar and Anum. Why we have chosen this path of calling for proposals from different provinces? Because in Indonesia, researchers have found large disparities across regions. As you all know, Indonesia has so many islands, and population are scattered around the islands. An earlier study, and this is by one of our collaborator, Park Gindo, and his collaborator, published in 2015. In this paper, the underweight, you see that the different islands have high degree of underweight. And also overweight, this is obesity, is scattered around different islands, different parts of Indonesia. So it is important to pay attention to these regional disparities. And conditions, constraints, problems, solutions are all different in different parts of Indonesia. Therefore, we have supported 12 studies from 12 provinces. Okay, now I ask Professor Mukhtar to introduce those studies. Thank you very much. Professor Mukhtar, please, I will just take out my slide.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Takashi, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Very good morning. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Distinguished
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi.
Henrima, Mr. Takashi, Ibu Preti, Bu Sri Sumarni, and Pak Anung, and all the participants. Well, continue to the Mr. Takashi previously introduced about the activities. I'm presenting this result of the capacity building on analysis and methodology for health researchers in Indonesia. We know that besides citing Hanandita and Gindo in 2015 about the disparity of the malnutrition, we also found that the discrepancy among the researchers in Indonesia. And it is very important to overcome the double burden of malnutrition that we have been facing for decades. And we really know the impact of malnutrition is comprehensive and complex, including the children and the future generations' cognitive and the impact of this to their productivity. So that's why ADB with the Ministry of Health conducted a research-based capacity building for health researchers from universities, health polytechnics, and also from Ministry of Health researchers. 12 provinces were chosen to receive research grant from ADB, and determinant factor analysis was carried out by analyzing quantitative data from Indonesian Nutrition Status Survey 2021, as well as baseline health research 2018. The object of the activities is to strengthen the competency of health researchers to conduct high-quality research in stunting, strengthen the competency of health research in writing high-quality policy brief, strengthen the competency of health research in writing high-quality manuscript or publication, and strengthen network among local officers and health researchers in improving the quality of local evidence-based health policy. And the networking is also benefit to improve the academician and researcher to be the research person for local province to overcome the malnutrition in the area. Well, we include 12 provinces from the western part, Aceh, North Sumatra, West Sumatra, South Sumatra, West Java, Central Java, East Java, Jakarta, Bali, South Kalimantan, South Sulawesi, and also East Nusa Tenggara. Based on these 12 provinces, 12 research team, the Aceh province proposed the analysis determinant factor of stunting and formulation of the intervention strategy model for the acceleration of reducing stunting in Aceh. And some of them, I don't want to read one by one, but basically they start with the main problem they have observed about the local problem related to the stunting as well as other malnutrition problem. Well, based on this, we can see in Aceh province, there is a result of the chance of stunting increases with age as marginal coefficient, very significant, and in families who don't have health insurance, also have significant impact to the stunting. The analysis of the location where children under 5 live also show that children living in some different geography have different problem. In this, for example, in Gayo Alas, have a greater chance of stunting, and compared to the children living in the Indian Ocean region and Malacca Strait region. We also see that the North Sumatra found that the level of parents' education, the use of latrines by the family, and the use of poor drinking water supply are significant for the incidence of high incidence of stunting in North Sumatra. In West Sumatra, also there are some classical factors, including gender, age, birth weight, history of upper respiratory tract infection, and parents' educational level. Whereas in West Java, we can see that determinant factor of short-birth length baby as a risk factor of stunting in West Java, including mothers without health insurance and also mother who had never taken blood supplement pills have a very significant factor to increase the stunting. In Central Java, there are some factors associated positively with linear growth, including birth weight, birth length, and pregnancy spacing more than 2 years. And there are some factors that have negative association with linear growth, including mother age, exclusive breast history, consumption of unhealthy snacks, and empty calorie drink. In East Java, in Bangkalan Regency, it was shown that the risk of stunting was higher. In mother's low-level education, again, it's related to classical factors. When children less than 12 months old are taken care by someone other than their parents, history intake fluids other than breast milk, the child age when they receive food other than breast milk, and the frequency of consumption of vegetable and fruits in children, and history of consumption vitamin A. We also found in Yogyakarta factors related to the risk of stunting in the period before and during COVID-19 pandemic are toddlers aged more than 2 years, low birth weight, birth length, and underweight. Meanwhile, the structural factors is that in the pre-pandemic period, toddlers live in the rural areas, and during the COVID-19 pandemic is poverty. Social factors related to the stunting toddler before the pandemic are the desirable dietary patterns for and universal health coverage ownership. In Bali, based on the multivariate logistic regulation, demonstrated factors that significantly associated with stunting are mother educational, consumption of iron tablet during pregnancy, and extended family. While in East Nusa Tenggara, incidence of stunting in children under 5 in the East was still very high, more than 35%. The logistic detection showed the child characteristic factor was a relation between variables of age, sex, low birth weight, body length, ownership of birth certificate, and receiving supplementary feeding. Meanwhile, in household factors, variables of toilet type, ownership on national health insurance or local government health insurance, ownership of kartu keluarga sejahtera, and areas of residence were related to stunting incident. In South Kalimantan, there is a relationship between mother's education, again, father's education, toddler age, low birth weight, exclusive breastfeeding, and underweight. The data were continued with the logistic regression test, and dominant variable related to the stunting were underweight, under 5 age, and also the premature birth. Well, in South Sulawesi, there are 5 determinants of stunting in children, including the household economic index, number of children under 5 in the house, mother's age, mother education, and child's age. At the household level, determinant of stunting increased significantly as the household economic index decreased. The weight at birth is determinant factor only in South Sulawesi province, and the number of household members and child age are determining factors in West Sulawesi. In conclusion, its province has their own determinant of stunting, but there are some classical factors we found, and some determinants similar with other provinces. Determinants of stunting might related with socio-demographic and biocultural diversity of specific area. And we also found that the informal leader is also very important to consider involved in the overcoming of stunting and malnutrition. That is continue with the policy brief has been developed by the team that can be presented by Pak Ano. Thank you very much for your attention. Back to you, Takashi.
Okay, thank you very much, Pak Mukhtar. Thank you for going through quickly. I know it's very, there is much more to discuss. So before I introduce Pak Ano, let me say, if you have any questions, please leave your questions in the comment box. We will pick up your questions later on during the panel discussion and Q&A sessions. Okay, please feel free to type in. I think you can type in both English and Bahasa either way. I think we have Bahasa speakers who can translate to me who cannot understand Bahasa. I'm sorry. Okay, so I'll ask Pak Anung to also discuss about the 12 studies. Thank you.
Thank you, Takashi-san. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for give us opportunity to share the technical assistance for stunting reduction in Indonesia. And I would like to share my screen, continuing what Prof. Mokhtar already present according to the finding in the term of the risk status and also SSCI, that we give the data, all data to the researchers in term of these activities. So the title is Capacity Building for Indonesia Health Researcher, Policy Brief from 12 province studies in Indonesia. So as we know that ADB already support us to research-based capacity for health researcher from university, health polytechnic, and also MOH researcher before move to the BRIN. And as Prof. Mokhtar also said that 12 provinces were chosen, and now we receive 23 policy brief from research 12 research team in these activities. And if we look for each province, Aceh, North Sumatra, West Sumatra, South Sumatra, West Java, Central Java, East Java, Yogyakarta, Bali, East Nusa Tenggara, South Sulawesi, and also South Kalimantan. The policy brief actually is based on the finding and are already writing in the manuscript, as Prof. Mokhtar said previously. And if I will be explain one by one, in a brief, that from Aceh, that from the finding from Aceh, the policy brief is targeted to the government of the Aceh at the Aceh province and also in the district because in the district level, and also in each district that researchers are conduct the analysis of the determinant factors, there are a lot of finding and also a lot of rule for the local government to be implemented the program or policies from the national level. As we already know that in the national level, we already chosen to approach for stunting reduction. We call specific intervention and also sensitive intervention. So almost all of the policy are already developed in the national level. But as we know that Indonesia is now a decentralization era, so the activities in each district can be improved from the policies in the national level to the activities of that. This policy brief from Aceh, the key point is strengthening the role of the cultural and also religious leader, and also the higher education institution and NGO to tackling the stunting reduction in Aceh. There are a lot of finding that the mechanism of coordination and also the mechanism of the government role, it is different in one and also another district. And if we compare one district and another, now the researcher choose the aspect of strengthening the role of the cultural and also religious leader and higher education of an NGO to continuing the activities in Aceh. And go to the North Sumatra, they have innovation to integration the program and improvement for food security family to handle the stunting. They call IMUD. And the target of the policy brief is for the animal husbandry and also food security services, the agriculture services, the health services, and the population control, and also family planning services in the sub-district level. The key point is a multi-sectoral collaboration in strengthening food security through the IMUD program. It's introduced, because they found that the potential aspect for the family, they have many potential aspect, yeah, to integrate the activities for preparing the food for the family. And we go to the West Sumatra. The policy brief title is Accelerated Declining Stunting Prevalent in West Sumatra, What to Do. And the aspect of that is strengthening monitoring and evaluation in stunting program at the district level. Bapeda have a role for monitoring and then give a feedback also to analyze of that finding. In this finding that the role of Bapeda need to strengthen, yeah, to continuing monitoring, because Bapeda in the provincial level understanding all of the resources from the national and also from the local to support the activities in the district level. So that's why the second target of the policy brief is the local government, how to manage and also to make governance for the activities of stunting in each district in West Sumatra. Go to the South Sumatra. The title of policy brief is optimizing the performance of Regency and cities OPD. OPD is like line minister in the district and also in the provincial level, and it part to accelerated stunting reduction in South Sumatra. That target also Bapeda, because the key point for this policy brief is the local government through the Bapeda need to oversee budget planning for stunting and prevention and reduction. Actually, in this finding that the Bapeda know about the resources, and now it's need to synchronize and also to integrate the activities in terms of place and also time for the local government. And West Java, the focus on the teenage girl, make anemia free, yeah, and to improve the supply chain and also the activities for iron supplement for that teenage girl in the school and also in the family. The key point of these issues is the central government, education, health, and PKKPN sector in West Java to improve coordination. West Java is the one of the biggest population and province, and need to massive campaign on anemia, because fact that we have the high case of the anemia in the teenage girl in West Java. So the target of the policy brief is National Family Planning Coordination Agency or PKKPN that already have a perpres, yeah, to coordinate all of the activities in the national level and the local government, focus on the education and culture, because the almost 95% of the teenage girls are already in the school in West Java. And Central Java, we have 5 policy brief in detail. Yeah, the target of policy brief is the Department of Agriculture and Food Security, Community, Village, and Empowerment Service, yeah, Public Health Office, Social Services, and Office of the Women Empowerment, Child Protection, and Family Planning in the provincial level. And the key point is multi and intersectoral collaboration is need to implementation of the stunting affiliation program in Central Java. Yeah, there are a lot of policy brief in detail, yeah, for from Central Java, and I think that is a good one to to improve the capacity writing the policy brief, yeah, in Central Java and another province. And from the East Java, there are 2 policy brief and they already developed, yeah, comparing Bangkalan and also Tulungagung Regency due to the different achievement from the same program and activities in the district level. So the key point is the local government need to make a written agreement or MOU, yeah, for all cooperation activities carried out with academic, and program planning on implementation of micronutrition program for toddler in Bangkalan Regency as an effort to prevent stunting in the short term. That also specific, yeah, to the local government, and that is the target of the policy brief were to the health office, family planning and women children services, and also village community empowerment services. And Yogyakarta, based on the fact of the determinant factor of stunting, the integrated stunting reduction intervention with obesity prevention in Yogyakarta. Yogyakarta is one of the 3 provinces who are the stunting is less than when we compare with the other provinces. Yeah, but from the finding, we need to program planning on integration of stunting and of overweight obesity affiliation program. It's very needed because even the stunting is already low, but the obesity is still high, yeah, in the Yogyakarta. The target of policy brief for the central government, health office at the Bantul Regency, and also women empowerment, children protection, population control at the Bantul Regency. And we go to the Bali. We have 3 policy brief with the key point as multi-sectoral collaboration for the behavior change intervention and program planning is need to supply iron tablet guaranteed. Yeah, that is also specific for the each district and the traditional village council, integrated health center, and also Paiketan Krama. Yeah, this is a NGO organization in Bali. Go to the East Nusa Tenggara. Focus on multi and also intersectoral collaboration, yeah, especially with the religious leader, because we have long experience and also fact that the religious leader in East Nusa Tenggara have a role, yeah, to influence the all activities of the society to improve the health status and also education. The target of policy brief is a religious leader and academic, also the regency and regional government at the East Nusa Tenggara. And the South Kalimantan, the title is a stunting affiliation effort in South Kalimantan province. The key point is the provincial of balanced diet utilizing local food to increase the food diversity and food security. The target is Office from Agriculture and Food Security, yeah. And the last one, talking about the South Sulawesi, the title is a consumption for iodine, salt, and program accelerated stunting reduction in area with the history of endemic iodine deficiency disorder. This is also very specific, and after the South Sulawesi team research team analyzed the determinant factor, that they found that iodine deficiency is also important and have a role to the increasing or decreasing the status of the stunting. And the key point of that area is a program planning and providing the quality of iodine salt in the areas with the endemic history of iodine deficiency is very important. And the focus for this policy brief is the regional health office and also Department of the Industry and Trade, yeah, to regulate the iodine salt in field. That if we conclude the key point of the policy brief, we have 3. First, we are talking about the management aspect, talking about the program planning. The second one is collaboration between one and another intersectoral, yeah, in district. And the second one is also a managerial aspect, such as monitoring and evaluation, and give feedback, analyzing for the district and sub-district level according to the activities of stunting affiliation. That is from policy brief that we already have 23, yeah, and we will be continue to encourage for, team researcher to write more, yeah, policy brief based on the fact of the determinant factors and also the activities in the field. Thank you. And back to you, Takashi-san.
Thank you, Pak Anung, for the description of the policy briefs coming out from the 12 study teams. And it's interesting to see that different provinces focusing on different factors, probably depending on the level of development and also the conditions. And some policy briefs emphasize the importance of the religious leaders, and that's found it very interesting, and then focus on some regional specific programs, and those are very important, and different issues, not only the stunting but anemia or obesity in Georgia. So you know, it shows that disparity and differences across different areas. Thank you very much. I saw Ibu Priti joining, but I don't see her. Anyway, is Priti in the program? Okay, yeah. Thank you very much. So based on the presentations by Professor Mukhtar and Professor Anun, and now we have two panelists. First, I'd like to invite Ibu Priti from Ministry of Health. Ibu Priti, please.
Thank you, Pak Takashi. So, good morning, everybody. If it is okay, allow me to speak in Bahasa Pak Takashi to make more clearly and maybe more specific. Thank you. Terima kasih Pak Takashi, Bapak Ibu sekalian. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan, salam kebangsaan, salam sehat. Pertama tentu kami dari Kementerian Kesehatan, khususnya dari dulu Badan Litbang Kesehatan dan sekarang Badan Pembangunan Kebijakan Badan Kebijakan Pembangunan Kesehatan yang telah bekerja sama ya dengan ADB terkait dengan program-program yang tadi sudah disampaikan oleh Prof. Mukhtar dan juga Dr. Anung terkait dengan isu gizi ya di Indonesia, dan terima kasih terkait juga isu membangun kapasitas ya teman-teman untuk bisa bagaimana menyampaikan situasi gizi di Indonesia. Lomi Pak Takashi mau dipulih. Pertama-tama terima kasih kepada semua pihak yang telah turut serta di dalam kegiatan ini ya, terutama khususnya untuk dukungan dari ADB dan juga tentu kepesertaan dari kawan-kawan semua yang terlibat, termasuk kawan-kawan Politeknik Kesehatan di bawah Kementerian Kesehatan, Direktorat Jenderal Tenaga Kesehatan, dan juga kawan-kawan dari perguruan tinggi ya, untuk kita bersama-sama meningkatkan kapasitas sumber daya manusia kesehatan terkait dengan menganalisis data, menulis hasil-hasilnya begitu ya, untuk kita bisa share ya, berbagi dengan negara-negara lain, juga tentunya selain yang utama adalah untuk Indonesia sendiri, untuk pemerintah ya, dalam rangka mengajukan rekomendasi kebijakan ya, atau policy brief, dan khususnya kali ini tentu tentang gizi, dan juga memanfaatkan beberapa data-data dan informasi yang sudah ada tentunya, karena dalam hal menganalisis tentu kita berharap sudah ada data-data yang bisa dianalisis ya. Dan Indonesia khususnya pemerintah dari sisi isu kesehatan, Kementerian Kesehatan sudah punya beberapa data yang bangun ya dengan validitas dan tentunya dengan masif ya, karena kita ketahui Indonesia sangat luas gitu, 270 juta penduduk dengan berbagai pulau yang tantangannya tentu sangat besar dalam rangka memprovide data yang real time ya, ataupun yang sesuai dengan kondisi aslinya dalam satu waktu tertentu. Jadi pertama terima kasih tentu atas kerjasama dan pengertian ya dengan kawan-kawan internasional, khususnya di sini ada ADB, bahwa situasinya seperti ini dan kami ini membangun SDM Indonesia yang bisa menyampaikan ya, data berikut analisisnya tentu sesuai dengan standar-standar yang berlaku. Yang kedua, tadi juga sudah disampaikan Prof. Mukhtar dan Dr. Anum bahwa hasil-hasil yang didapat dan analisis-analisisnya tentu bersifat lintas, tidak hanya lintas institusi, tetapi juga lintas disiplin ilmu. Karena dari sisi penanganan stunting pun pemerintah sudah menyampaikan intervensi-intervensinya itu ada dua pendekatannya. Intervensi yang spesifik yang memang ditangani oleh orang kesehatan dan institusi sensitif yang merupakan faktor-faktor yang menentukan terkait dengan isu status gizi. Jadi tentu kompleksitas dari status gizi mudah-mudahan semua bisa memahami dan data-data yang diperlukan juga bisa memberikan satu kebenaran data ya, sehingga pada saat kita memberikan satu hasil analisis untuk diusung kebijakan itu bisa diimplementasikan karena memang situasinya seperti itu, tidak ada hal-hal yang harus disembunyikan. Jadi untuk itu maka keikutsertaan, bahkan sekarang kan kita sudah mengenal tidak lagi pentahelix mungkin ya, menjadi 6 helix ya, hexahelix, termasuk community participation itu juga sekarang sangat didorong ya, untuk percepatan Indonesia meraih masyarakat sehat yang mandiri. Ya, jadi artinya tidak harus terus digandeng atau dituntun oleh pemerintah. Tetapi bagaimana masyarakat Indonesia itu bisa sehat secara mandiri, tentu itu memerlukan kerjasama dengan community base. Ya. Kemudian selanjutnya juga seperti kita ketahui bahwa ada pelaksana kegiatan itu tentu dilakukan oleh kawan-kawan di daerahnya. Jadi pemerintah daerah tentu sangat berperan begitu. Maka sebenarnya saat ini di Bali sedang ada kegiatan Badan Kebijakan Pembangunan Kesehatan terkait dengan sinergitas transformasi yang sedang kita usung antara pusat dengan daerah. Karena apapun kebijakan yang dikeluarkan oleh pusat apabila tidak bisa diimplementasikan, saya rasa pasti tidak akan bermanfaat banyak. Bisa melihat target-target indikator yang memang sudah ditetapkan. Jadi untuk itu sekali lagi terima kasih. Analisa bersifat institusi, lintas institusi dan lintas disiplin ilmu. Tentu keikutsertaan semua pihak dalam menyusun suatu kebijakan bersama-sama untuk kita bisa implementasikan kiranya juga menjadi satu hal yang perlu menjadi concern. Kolaborasi di antara periset juga itu menjadi satu hal yang tidak bisa dipisahkan. Di dalam konteks internasional pun di WHO sudah sempat diangkat, tidak hanya health in all policies, tetapi no health without research. Jadi itu tidak bisa dipisahkan. Terlepas dari di Indonesia yang dianggap boleh melakukan riset itu adalah Badan Riset dan inovasi nasional. Tetapi tidak ada satu kebijakan pun yang tidak didasarkan pada riset. Jadi itu yang mungkin dalam tanda petik ya, metode-metode apapun itu pasti melakukan metode yang berdasarkan riset. Mungkin itu juga yang menjadi satu hal bagaimana kolaborasi ini menjadi satu hal yang keniscayaan yang kiranya bisa melihat memperkaya sudut pandang ya. Tidak hanya silo dalam tanda petik gitu ya. Karena harus tetap ada benang merahnya antara periset dan juga pengambil kebijakan. Tidak bisa, jangan sampai selalu terulang ya. Hasil riset itu selalu ditaruh di dalam laci karena tidak bisa diimplementasikan. Kemudian dalam konteks pemanfaatan data, saya rasa kawan-kawan ADB juga sudah sempat terinfo. Kemenkes melalui transformasi juga sekarang melakukan percepatan terkait dengan big data, one data, yang kembali lagi itu tidak mudah karena kaitannya juga dengan kawan-kawan di daerah, selain juga tentu kementerian lain yang terlibat ya dalam hal bagaimana kita bisa memberikan data itu real time dengan mobilitas yang tinggi dan kompleksitas geografi Indonesia yang sangat luas, sehingga bagaimana memberikan akses itu sepertinya tidak bisa disebut mudah, walaupun tidak bisa disebut sulit, walaupun sebetulnya tidak mudah. Jadi kembali lagi lintas kementerian, lintas pengambil kebijakan, termasuk keikutsertaan tentu para pemikir yang khususnya ada di perguruan tinggi yang juga tersebar di semua provinsi, saya rasa perlu menjadi satu perhatian. Dalam hal konteks pemanfaatan data, saya rasa sudah banyak riset-riset juga dilakukan oleh teman-teman perguruan tinggi ya. Tapi bagaimana how to present to the governments that they have the data, the good data. Karena kadang-kadang mereka menyampaikannya partially ya. Jadi artinya hanya satu provinsi, hanya mungkin satu kabupaten gitu, yang tidak bisa direpresentasikan nationally. Gitu. Dan kita tahu tadi hasil dari salah satu kajian pun menyampaikan memang spesifik locally gitu. Dalam pendekatan how to mengatasi terkait dengan tidak hanya stunting ya, jadi terkait dengan stunting dan faktor-faktor determinannya. Tadi sudah disampaikan juga ada wanita hamil, bahkan juga wanita usia subur, gitu ya, supaya siap menghadapi masa kehamilan. Jadi dalam rangka tadi providing data, saya rasa juga Kemenkes sedang berupaya untuk bagaimana bisa data itu tidak hanya real time dan tidak hanya one big data, tapi juga accessible untuk semua ya. Dalam konteks untuk positif aksi ya, untuk positive action. Kadang sekarang data itu diributkan gitu ya, karena semua orang memprovide data untuk satu hal yang sama. Metodenya saja berbeda dan waktunya yang berbeda. Itu akan menghasilkan data yang berbeda. Nah, itu menjadi satu masalah gitu. Apabila kemudian dikeluarkan dalam waktu yang bersamaan, tapi pengambilan datanya berbeda sebetulnya. Metodenya juga berbeda. Dan itu diklaim oleh teman-teman di daerah tentu yang menurut mereka paling baik gitu ya. Jadi kalau ada satu hal yang paling baik itu yang paling rendah, ya yang paling rendah yang diambil data. Tapi mungkin itu tidak menggambarkan kondisi yang ada saat sekarang. Saya rasa mungkin itu yang juga menjadi concern semua. Terima kasih sekali lagi. Harapan dari kementerian tentu bagaimana kerjasama ini, kolaborasi ini juga bisa bisa dimanfaatkan dalam konteks tadi ya, sampai kepada masyarakat. Tentu substansi-substansi tadi juga bisa kita deliver kepada kepentingan daerah melalui unit-unit utama di Kemenkes yang mempunyai program tentunya. Karena bagaimanapun juga saya rasa jangankan BKPK saja ya, maksud saya Pak Takasi dan kawan-kawan, kalau BKPK juga yang langsung ke daerah, saya rasa belum tentu juga bisa diimplementasikan. Jadi tentu harus either the minister to the minister or eselon satunya, gitu, yang mendeliver kepada Kemendagri yang mengampu daerahnya. Karena nanti hasilnya outcome-nya biasanya regulasi. Jadi kalau suatu rekomendasi kebijakan itu tidak diregulasikan, tentu tidak akan ada yang mengimplementasikan. Bukan karena apapun, karena masalah indikator-indikator kinerja dan indikator-indikator yang akan diukur nanti oleh orang-orang daerah ya, dalam rangka memanfaatkan anggaran-anggaran negara ataupun anggaran-anggaran yang diberikan oleh pendonor supaya bisa menunjukkan hasil akhirnya indikator yang sudah ditetapkan di dalam Renstra ataupun RPJMN kita itu tercapai. Jadi seberapapun uang yang besar tapi indikatornya ternyata tetap gitu ya, tidak tercapai seperti yang sekarang kita sering nilai, pasti ada hal yang mungkin harus diperbaiki. Jadi bukan salah ya, mungkin kurang pas gitu. Dan ini yang menjadi perhatian kita semua. Terakhir sekali lagi saya rasa terima kasih dan izin kiranya kerjasama seperti ini juga akan kita teruskan dan juga mungkin akan ada keterlibatan badan-badan internasional lain yang saya rasa kita akan bersama-sama begitu ya. Karena saya sudah sampaikan juga sama Pak Takasi banyak sebetulnya hal yang harus dikerjakan dan tidak bisa hanya dengan anggaran APBN sendiri dan tidak bisa juga hanya keterlibatan satu pendonor dari internasional. Jadi karena tadi sekarang sudah 37 ya provinsinya. Sudah berkembang lagi, tidak 34. Mengingat geografi dan lain sebagainya menjadi 37 provinsi. Dan itu tentu memerlukan hal-hal yang tadi lokal spesifik dari bermacam cara. Mungkin itu Pak Takasi, Bapak Ibu sekalian sebagai insight tanggapan atas semua hasil. Saya yakin semua hasil kajian pasti bagus, Pak Takasi, Pak Anu, Prof. Atar. Tapi bagaimana itu bisa kita persembahkan untuk diimplementasikan, yang tentu saya rasa karena isu kesehatan itu ada di Kementerian Kesehatan dan pelaksana program itu ada di unit-unit utama lain. Dan mungkin ini bisa dipersembahkan untuk mengisi ya puzzle-puzzle yang sudah disiapkan, regulasi-regulasinya untuk bisa mempercepat ya. Karena sekali lagi regulasi adalah yang utama. Kami sedang menyusun regulasi apa saja yang harus diperbaiki dan sebagainya, dan memerlukan kajian apa. Jadi mudah-mudahan hasil kajian yang didapat ini bisa merupakan suatu sumbangan ya, untuk bisa segera mengisi regulasi-regulasi percepatan untuk bisa ditetapkan. Thank you again Pak Takasi and all colleagues. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your excellent comments, and I agree that from research we'd like to see actions and results, so impacts. So in this sense, and I think these 12 studies, as Prof. Anun explained, there has been many policy briefs has been drafted, and some policy briefs has been already published. So I think that's a good step, good step to that goal of achieving impacts. So now I'd like to invite Professor Sri Sumarmi. She is a professor in Faculty of Public Health at the Erlangga University. Sumani, yes, please come in.
Okay, thank you very much, Pak Takeshi. Then, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. Okay, let me giving the comment, but I would like to focus only based on Prof. Mohtar presentation and Pak Anung presentation. There is a 12 research from 12 provinces in Indonesia. The highlight and some findings have been presented by Pak Mohtar, Prof. Mohtar was, and I would like to give the highlight notes. Some province, finding in some any findings in some province. The first one is Aceh province. Based on what Prof. Mohtar presenting, that the finding shows that the only two factors that influence stunting among children under 5 years, that is age of children and the ownership of health insurance among the family. In my opinion, so the researchers have include all possible factors related to stunting, whether the sensitive indicator or specific indicator. Because in the Aceh team, found the two factors affecting stunting, which is, if we look at this finding, it seems that many intervention from governments mean nothing except health insurance, because only health insurance that influence the stunting prevalence in Aceh. So what about the other intervention? Intervention from government. What the role of government intervention in this study? So, if we connect between presentation from Prof. Mohtar and Pak Anung presentation, the policy brief in the Aceh team would be strengthen the role of religion leader and other key person in Aceh. But the findings that present by Pak Mohtar did not mention about it. So, Pak Anung, if the draft of policy brief is still running, maybe make a connection between finding in Pak Mohtar presentation about the health insurance, maybe strengthen the policy, the religious leader and the cultural leader and also other key person in Aceh to strengthen in the participation of people in Aceh in health insurance, maybe. So the policy brief can be focused in this matter. And the second point of the Aceh province, if we refer to the title of the study about analysis determinant factor of stunting and formulation of the intervention strategy model for the acceleration of reducing stunting in Aceh, but unfortunately we do not hear what the strategy explained in this research, in this study. So what this intervention strategy then? Maybe this about the strategy of intervention can be included in this policy brief. In the draft of policy brief can be improved to more more issues including in this policy brief. And then we go to the West Sumatra, and the finding in the West Sumatra. The title also mentioned about the policy, and program implementation, but the in the conclusion or the findings does not represent anything related the government program. So the policy brief maybe should be include what the strategy and especially we do not see about the maternal variable and in this analysis, but only pregnancy outcome, about the low birth weight, but how about the maternal variable? Because maternal variable is a very strong predictor for the stunting. So West Sumatra maybe in the policy brief maybe also mention about the maternal variable included. And then we have the notes from West Java team. They focus in about the determinant factor of short birth length. I think this terminology, the term maybe should be replaced or should be corrected. Yeah, short birth length is not a popular term. Maybe we can use neonatal stunting. Neonatal stunting may be a more proper replace. Yeah, instead of short birth length, and also blood supplement pill. Blood supplement pill is also not a popular term. We can use iron folic acid tablet or something, because in WHO using this term, iron folic acid. Yeah. I have the highlight about the maternal stature, because many research, many findings that has been published in many journals also found or revealed that short stature mother related as a strong predictor for the neonatal stunting. It means the data from West Java lack of information about it. So in policy brief, maybe the team need to deep information about the relationship from maternal short stature, because in this finding may be in line with our finding in the last study about the decomposing stunting reduction, that our finding revealed that the maternal short stature is strong correlate with neonatal stunting. So West Java maybe miss this variable. So we go to the Central Java team. I found several terms not usual use in publication, in many publication about the empty calorie drinks. Maybe it's not usual term to be used in publication. So maybe we use low density calorie, low density calorie drink instead of empty calorie drink. But my question is, how about the correlation? The researcher mentioned about the negative association between empty calorie drink with the stunting. What that mean? Because low density it's low density calorie. So if the children more consume more low density calorie drink, there is more actually more risk to stunting. But why this analysis, these findings become a negative correlation? So that is my note about the Central Java team findings. And then we go to the East Java finding, Prof. Motar. I giving the note, but that East Java title is about the comparison study between two regions, Tulungagung district and Bangkalan district. I know that Bangkalan district is the highest prevalence of stunting in East Java, and Tulungagung maybe represent the low prevalence of stunting in East Java. But the conclusion do not represent the comparison between two regions. So maybe explore about the comparison in the policy brief, and then take the lesson learned from the low prevalence region, Tulungagung district into the Bangkalan district. I think it is about the lesson learned from a district with low prevalence of stunting and compared to the high prevalence stunting district of Bangkalan. But we also have the notes about the terminology. Some terminology maybe can replace with the more proper ones, like fluid other than breast milk, maybe refer to the prelactal milk, maybe prelactal milk instead of the fluid other than breast milk. And
I'd like to have some time left for other people to make a question. So, please wrap up your comments.
Okay. So
there's only a key important ones.
And the key important of all of research, I think most of research finding actually in line with the other research, and especially in our findings in last study. But all the team may more focusing in the spatial issues and link between the research finding and the issues that focus on policy brief in the policy brief. Yeah, linking between to other results. I think this our comment, Pak Takeshi, and yeah, we need to clarify also in Yogyakarta. They mentioned about the desirable dietary pattern score in the individual data, but in my knowledge, that desirable dietary score, desirable dietary pattern score is actually used in the population setting or region in the region setting. So it's not proper using the dietary pattern, yeah, desirable dietary pattern in the individual data. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. I know Professor Anun and Professor Mukta may have replies to Ibsmini, but before that, let me ask other people also, including Henry. You said, do you have any comments or questions?
Terima kasih, Pak Takashi. I would just like to make a few comments. Thank you very much to everyone for these fascinating presentations. I myself am not a specialist in health and nutrition, but I thought that these findings were very interesting and very relevant to the operations of both the government of Indonesia and of the Asian Development Bank. Just a few comments, please. I was very much impressed by Ibu Preti's point that it's a pentahelix, that it's a very complex issue that requires the participation of many people. And I also concur with her and greatly appreciate the emphasis that she placed on research and evidence as the foundation for policy interventions. My third point is that, as you noted, the health conditions and determinants are very different and therefore would require localized, tailored interventions. I understand that the current regional fiscal management reform law tries to improve the quality and quantity of regional expenditure, and hopefully this can tie in with the efforts in this area. Now, at the same time, although there are lots of specific local conditions, in your view, are there also overarching general conditions that hold across all regions? For instance, from my non-expert perception, I thought that maternal education came up a lot as a factor that held across all provinces. So maybe also something like maternal health status and so on. Finally, it seems that it's not just a question of the quantity of food, right? Or the quantity of nutrients or incomes, but we get into the tricky question of information and preferences. That's because this morning, the news in business, according to Ibu Menteri Sri Mulyani, is that in household spending, the second highest weight after food is cigarettes, which therefore could crowd out, other areas that contribute to health and nutrition. And that, is an area that that deserves attention, but may also be tricky. Terima kasih to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Henry, for the very nice comments and questions. Let me now go back to Professor Mukta and Professor Anun to respond to Henry's and Ibu Srini's comments and questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. May I first, Pak Anu? Hello?
Silakan, Prof.
Okay, well, yes. Thank you. I think I will make a comment with the latest one from Mr. Henry Ma. Yes, you are right that maternal education is the most finding. I mean, most researchers found this this variable, and then we know that based on the, for example, how Japan success to overcome the malnutrition problem because they have a policy and implementation program of Koiku. That means that they put they emphasize the education in all of its level, and about the various of especially the fiscal capacity, we can see that some researchers found that the health insurance and the ownership of what is called wellness card, surat keluarga, sertifikat kartu keluarga sejahtera is really relevant to the factors of the stunting. So you are right. Thank you for your comments. And Bu Preti, we can see that there are a lot of researchers just do the research. So that's why this capacity building is not only, as I mentioned previously, is not only improve the capacity of the researchers and academicians, but they also encourage to implement their idea with the local government. So the idea followed by the policy brief that they also will be willing, their willingness to accompany the local government to implement the idea. This is also the main idea of this capacity building. And from Mami, yes, you are right. There are some term is not really scientific terms because it is they use based on the questionnaire, based on the term they use to collect the data. That you are right, that the term, if it is published in scientific paper, it should be changed, it should be improved. However, for the policy brief, we know that some term is easier to understand, to be understood by some non-nutrition expert that we can use and make some explanation. If there is a bit lack between the policy brief and the finding based on the quantitative one is correct. For example, in Aceh, the religious leader, actually the finding is about the health insurance.
Insurance, yes.
Yeah. And based on the qualitative study, they found that some problem mainly based on the reluctance of religious leaders to use the health insurance. So that's why the policy brief is about how to advocate the religious leader with the different approach and knowledge about the health insurance. Yeah. So there are some, if you just see the quantitative finding in the policy, the title of policy brief, yes, you are right that there are some no strong relation, but based on the qualitative study they do, it is really relevant. Yeah, I think, thank you for your coming back to you, Mr. Takashi. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Pak Anun, anything to add? Yeah.
Thank you, Takashi-san. Thank you, Henry. Also, Prof. Mami, Bu Preti. that your comment is very interesting for us, yeah, especially from Henry, that my Minister of Finance talking about the cigarette consumption. Yeah, that is also the challenge. Actually, we have more and more data if we are talking about research, yeah, or research. Basic health research that we can compare in one district and another district, talking about the cigarette, talking about the behavior, and so on and so on. That's why we encourage all of the researchers to look in detail. Yeah, it's not only in the concept but in the activities, how they will have a chance to influence in the community. And Prof. Mami, I think Prof. Mokhtar already explained about that one. And yes, I'm agree that some of the word term we need to improve, yeah, to have the pattern or familiar term, and then the policy brief and some of because in the manuscript, not in all of the manuscript, Prof. Mokhtar explained according to the result of a qualitative study. Yeah. Bu Preti, thank you so much for your support, and we need to continue, yeah, make it the finding from the research translate into the policies analysis and also policies brief. Yeah, actually, policy brief just one step when we are talking about the policy development. So we need to continue, because at that time we introduced that when we are develop policy brief, at least we have two aspects. Yeah, for advocate, and the other one is to exploring more on the finding. So that's why we need continuing the capacity of the researcher to translate from the fact finding into the policies in the local and also in the central government.
Okay.
Thank you, Takassi-san.
Yeah, thank you. So we have a few minutes. So does anyone wants to ask question? There is one comment, I think, from Martha, clarifying the study about Central Java. But does anyone have questions or wants to make comments? Please feel free to speak up. It's difficult to see, so.
Yes, Mr. Takassi.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, Martha.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm Martha from Universitas Diponegoro. Yeah, I just want to clarify that the dependent variable of our study is not stunting but linear growth. So the intake of high calorie drink, that the questionnaire is about empty calorie drink. I mean that the calorie is high, but there is no micronutrient in it. So we cannot use a low density calorie drink because it's high calorie. Yeah, that's my explanation. So we use empty calorie drink because the calorie is high. Sweet.
Yeah, so a high calorie, right?
Yeah,
Martha. High calorie, but lack of macronutrient.
Yes, yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, so it's not about empty calorie, right?
Yeah,
so high calorie.
Empty calorie means empty. That means empty calorie. The calorie is high, but the micronutrient is low. That's
the term maybe high density calorie but low micronutrient. Micronutrient. Yes.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay, Bu Martha, thank you.
Yeah. So so I'd like to make an announcement. So next month, January 24th and 25th, the 25th, we are going to organize a 2-day workshop. And in that 2-day workshop in Jakarta, most likely the Meridian Hotel. We will make announcements officially. But at the workshop, today workshop, 12 studies will be presented individually, one by one. So the more details of these 12 studies will be presented and can be discussed. Prof. Mami, Asmami, of course, you are invited, and then other people are all invited. We'll make announcement. So together with 12 studies, we will have other collaborations with WFP and UNICEF, and all that will be presented. So unfortunately, times are up. So we will the workshop will be open to anyone to participate. So although the registration is required, so we'll make announcement. Please check for announcement. So unfortunately, time is up. Henry, so can we now close?
Thank you very much, Pat Takashi. Thank you very much to Professor Mansur, Dr. Anung, Ibu Sumarmi, and Ibu Preti for your insights and your analysis. We at IRM have been happy to host this presentation. And as I noted, we are hoping that the audience will attend future presentations next year. And with regard to policies and interventions that should come out of this research, we at IRM are very happy to collaborate with other departments in ADB in future such projects. Stay safe and healthy, everyone. Have a good day and have a productive week and remainder of 2022, and best wishes for 2023.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you all.
Thank you for all.
Next seminar.
Prof. Feni
Terima
barusan
kasih.
bergabung.
Prof. Feni sehat, Prof. Feni.
Ya, Prof. Feni sudah melarikan diri karena tahu besok Minggu saya mau ke sana.
Terima kasih, Dr. Anu.
Ya, makasih.
Makasih semuanya. Pamit dulu.
Prof.
Mami, matur nuwun, Prof.
Mami.
Makasih, San. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Terima kasih.
Henry, Takashi San, may I leave? Thank you.
Yeah.